Imagine a world where the sun never shines, yet life thrives in the darkest depths, where the pressure is extreme and the temperature is near freezing. This world exists, and it's right here on our planet, in the deepest parts of our oceans. The deep sea is a vast and largely unexplored environment, home to an incredible array of creatures that have adapted to survive in conditions that would be hostile to most other forms of life. These creatures have evolved some amazing strategies to cope with the lack of sunlight, which is essential for photosynthesis, the process by which plants and some other organisms produce energy from sunlight. In the deep sea, there are no plants to speak of, so animals have to rely on other sources of energy, like the chemicals emitted by hydrothermal vents, or the scraps that fall from the surface. It's a challenging existence, but one that has given rise to some truly bizarre and fascinating creatures, like the anglerfish, which has a fleshy growth on its head that's used as a lure to attract prey. One of the most impressive adaptations of deep-sea creatures is their ability to produce their own light, a process called bioluminescence. This is made possible by a chemical reaction that occurs within the creature's body, which produces a glow that can be used to communicate, attract prey, or defend against predators. It's like having a built-in flashlight, and it's a crucial tool for survival in the dark depths. Some creatures, like the dragonfish, have specialized light-producing organs that can produce a variety of colors and patterns, while others, like the glowworm, use their bioluminescence to lure in unsuspecting prey. The deep sea is also home to some of the most extreme environments on the planet, like the hydrothermal vents, which are like underwater springs that emit superheated water and minerals from the Earth's crust. These vents support a unique community of organisms that can survive in temperatures that would be lethal to most other forms of life. The giant tube worm, for example, has no mouth or digestive system, and instead uses bacteria that live inside its body to convert the chemicals emitted by the vent into energy. It's a remarkable example of symbiosis, where two organisms work together to achieve a common goal. As we explore the deep sea, we're constantly discovering new and incredible creatures, each with their own unique adaptations and strategies for survival. The frilled shark, for example, has a long eel-like body and a mouth full of sharp teeth, which it uses to capture prey in the dark depths. The viperfish, on the other hand, has large teeth and a bioluminescent lure on its lower jaw, which it uses to attract prey. These creatures are a testament to the incredible diversity of life on our planet, and the amazing ways in which organisms can adapt to even the most extreme environments. And as we continue to explore the deep sea, we're likely to discover even more incredible creatures, each with their own fascinating stories to tell. One of the most fascinating things about deep-sea creatures is the way they've adapted to the intense pressure and darkness of their environment. For example, many deep-sea fish have large eyes that are extremely sensitive to light, which helps them detect the faint glow of bioluminescent organisms in the distance. Others have developed huge teeth and powerful jaws that allow them to capture and eat prey in the dimly lit depths. And then there are the creatures that have learned to produce their own light, like the anglerfish, which uses its bioluminescent lure to attract prey. But it's not just the fish that have adapted to life in the deep sea. Invertebrates like corals and sponges have also found ways to thrive in this environment. Some species of coral, for example, have formed symbiotic relationships with bioluminescent algae that live inside their tissues, providing them with the nutrients they need to survive. And giant tube worms, which can grow up to 8 feet long, have developed a unique relationship with bacteria that live inside their tissues and provide them with the chemicals they need to survive. These bacteria, known as chemosynthetic bacteria, are able to convert chemicals from the hydrothermal vents into energy, which the worms can then use to power their own metabolism. The hydrothermal vents are one of the most extreme environments on the planet, with temperatures that can reach up to 400 degrees Celsius and pressures that are crushing. But, despite these extreme conditions, the vents are home to a unique community of organisms that have adapted to this environment in incredible ways. Giant clams, for example, have developed a way to harness the chemicals from the vents to power their own growth, allowing them to reach sizes of up to 3 feet across. And vent crabs have evolved to be able to survive in the hot, chemical-rich water that surrounds the vents, using their powerful claws to capture prey and defend themselves from predators. As we explore the deep sea, we're constantly discovering new and amazing creatures that have adapted to this environment in incredible ways. The frilled shark, for example, has a long eel-like body that allows it to capture prey in the dark depths, and a mouthful of tiny teeth that are perfect for grasping and eating fish. And the vampire squid has developed a pair of retractable, thread-like filaments that it uses to capture prey, as well as a pair of glowing spots that it uses to communicate with other squid. These creatures are a testament to the incredible diversity of life on our planet, and the amazing ways in which organisms can adapt to even the most extreme environment. And as we continue to explore the deep sea, we're likely to discover even more incredible creatures, each with their own unique adaptations and survival strategies. The deep sea is a vast and largely unexplored frontier, and it's likely that we've only just begun to scratch the surface of the incredible diversity of life that exists there. One of the most fascinating things about deep sea creatures is the way they've adapted to the intense pressure and darkness of their environment. For example, many deep-sea fish have large eyes that are incredibly sensitive to even the smallest amounts of light, allowing them to detect the faint glow of bioluminescent organisms or the distant shine of a hydrothermal vent. Others have developed massive teeth and powerful jaws that allow them to capture and eat prey in the dimly lit darkness. And then there are the creatures that have given up on eyes altogether, like the blind fish that use their lateral lines to detect the vibrations of other animals in the water. But it's not just the darkness that's a challenge in the deep sea. The pressure is also extreme, reaching over 1,000 times the pressure at sea level in some areas. To cope with this, many deep-sea creatures have developed strong, flexible bodies that can withstand the crushing force of the water. Some, like the deep-sea fish known as the anglerfish, have even developed special organs that help to regulate the pressure inside their bodies, allowing them to swim and hunt without being squished. And then there are the creatures that have taken a completely different approach, like the giant tube worms that cluster around hydrothermal vents, using their tough, leathery skin to protect themselves from the scorching heat and intense pressure of the vent fluids. The deep sea is also a very food-scarce environment, and many creatures have adapted to this by developing slow metabolisms and efficient feeding strategies. For example, some deep-sea fish have large mouths and stomachs that allow them to eat as much as possible when they come across a meal, and then survive for long periods of time without eating again. Others, like the vampire squid, have developed special tentacles that allow them to capture and eat small prey in the darkness, using their bioluminescent spots to lure in unsuspecting victims. And then there are the creatures that have formed symbiotic relationships with other organisms, like the clams that live in the sediments around hydrothermal vents, using bacteria that thrive in the hot, chemical-rich fluids to provide them with nutrients. The diversity of life in the deep sea is truly staggering, and it's a testament to the incredible adaptability of life on Earth. From the giant squid that roam the open ocean to the tiny microorganisms that cluster around hydrothermal vents, each creature has evolved its own unique set of adaptations and survival strategies that allow it to thrive in this alien environment. And as we continue to explore the deep sea, we're likely to discover even more incredible creatures, each with their own fascinating stories to tell about the evolution of life on our planet. The deep sea is a window into the history of life on Earth, and it's an environment that continues to inspire and fascinate us, with its strange and exotic creatures, and its unique and alien landscapes. The deep sea is a world that's still largely uncharted, and every new discovery sheds more light on the incredible diversity of life that exists on our planet. One of the most fascinating things about deep-sea creatures is the way they've adapted to survive in this extreme environment. For example, many deep-sea fish have large eyes to help them detect the faint glow of bioluminescent creatures, while others have developed powerful senses of smell to track down prey in the dark. Some creatures, like the anglerfish, even have their own built-in light sources, like a lure on their head that's used to attract prey. But it's not just the senses that are adapted to the deep sea. The bodies of these creatures are also specially designed to withstand the crushing pressure and near-freezing temperatures of the deep ocean. For instance, some deep-sea fish have bodies that are super flexible, so they can squeeze through narrow openings and avoid being crushed by the pressure. Others have developed strong, rigid shells that protect them from the pressure, like the shells of clams and mussels. And then there are the creatures that have no shells at all, like the sea cucumbers and sea stars, which have bodies that are soft and flexible, but still manage to thrive in the deep sea. The deep sea is also home to some of the most bizarre and alien-like creatures on the planet, like the giant tube worms that live in hydrothermal vents, and the deep-sea vent eels that have no mouth or digestive system. These creatures are able to survive in the harsh conditions surrounding the vents, where hot water and minerals are spewing out of the Earth's crust, creating a unique chemical environment that's hostile to most other forms of life. The giant tube worms, for example, have no mouth or digestive system, but they're able to absorb nutrients from the chemicals in the vent water, using a special type of bacteria that lives inside their bodies. As we learn more about the deep sea and its inhabitants, we're also gaining a deeper appreciation for the importance of this ecosystem to the health of our planet. The deep sea plays a critical role in regulating the Earth's climate, and it's also a major source of new medicines and other valuable resources. So, as we continue to explore the deep sea, we're not just discovering new and exciting creatures, we're also learning more about the complex web of life that supports our planet, and the importance of preserving this delicate balance for future generations. If you're fascinated by the deep sea and its creatures, be sure to check out our next video where we'll be exploring the latest discoveries in deep sea research and the new technologies that are allowing us to explore this alien world in greater detail than ever before.